Hello, welcome to Training Camp Live at Bucs Report. I'm here with the dude, and we've got some guests in here. The first guest we got is James Canada, ex-Buccaneer. We got JC Allen from Pewter Report, and we got Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. So if you're sticking with us, we're going to talk a little bit about training camp, the stories that's going around, and what's been happening around the NFL. But for the majority of it, we'll be talking Bucs. We got the dude joining me, and we got Johnny as well.
Johnny,
how's it going, Johnny?
How's it going, guys?
I just got back in. Cold beer, ready to roll.
You're not even sweating, man. I expected you to sprint from your car right there, man, and be
sweating. I need to go to the toilet.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arguably People Magazine's sexiest men of the year on screen right now. Well,
Zed.
At least he's still on the outside.
Yeah.
So, training camp, no Tom Brady. Tom Brady took his birthday off, and guess what? He's not going to play against the Dolphins. I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward.
Is that confirmed that he's definitely not going to play?
Yeah, that came from the coach.
Okay.
and I'm thinking, yeah, that's a way to avoid questions about that all week.
Absolutely.
Oh, but so everybody tuning in, I don't know who's tuning in. I don't know anything like that. Right now, Johnny, I want you to do like a brief commercial for your show. I'm going to go share the link to a couple people, but I'll be back in 15 seconds.
You're on the clock. Yeah. Okay. Thursday night, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, the NFL edition is going to be doing a live fantasy draft. Then we will be covering the post-game show. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting, very interesting. And don't worry, if you're not into fantasy football, it don't matter. We have Ben and Alec who don't care either. So they'll be talking to you and enjoying themselves while me and Alec battle over our players.
I'll battle.
You're going to be in it too, right?
Yeah, I'm down.
That's right.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, don't forget to show up.
What time is it?
9 p.m. We're going to probably start.
I'll be scraping it, but I'll get in.
We'll probably start drafting around 9:30.
Oh, that'll be fine. That should be fine.
I don't know how much news Alex has. So there's been quite a bit of news going on, so he's probably got quite a bit.
There has been. The thing is, it's a lot of it's been covered already, so it's always nice to try and find something fresh. But it's so difficult when it's like little.
Well, that's why on my page I don't try to post. If I have to post something like the Deshaun Watson thing, you have to post that. I don't like to talk about it because I'm a very
you have your opinion on it. I think I'm in the similar opinion as you, to be honest.
Right.
I've got a daughter, so
the majority of the fans are like that. I think I spoke to James Canada yesterday when he was on his show. I was in the chat talking about it, and I think he's fairly the same opinion as I am.
Mm-hmm.
That issue is getting resolved. I think the fact that they're actually appealing this is the proper way to do it. They have to.
I think so.
Because change starts somewhere. You can't keep looking, well, he did this or he did that in the past. The whole point is change.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere with change.
You've got to show that kind of behaviors. I'm not saying he did or didn't do it because there's no actual proof of any of it. So that's why I don't want to go down that alley. But you want to kind of put a firm hand on things.
There was enough proof and evidence for Sue Robinson to come out and say that there was proof, and with the Supreme Court, the Texas Supreme Court, when they heard it, was in closed session. So,
yeah. What I'm saying is, you want to send a message to say that kind of behavior is unacceptable, because if you're too light and too soft, I think that's why so many people are so angry about the contract he got and what have you.
The biggest thing is the Calvin Ridley, a year.
Yeah, a year just for gambling on his team to win. It's not like you're expecting them to fail.
Yeah. Of course, we know Pete Rose got banned for life, so over gambling, but that's a ridiculous situation too, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the dude.
Hey. Success every day. So we've got James Canada from Big Game Sports Buzz coming up here soon. And later, JC Allen from Pewter Report. And of course, Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. So hang in there for a little bit, guys. Bucs news today. Not a whole lot going on, right? I mean, practice.
Didn't the Brady get a goat cake? I heard.
Yeah,
Also?
he got a nice cake from Leonard Fournette. If you judge by people on Twitter, and it's Twitter, Kyle Trask didn't look very good today, according to everybody.
There was a lot of people kind of already lost faith in the kid, even though he's had one bad practice. They all have bad practices. You can't. That's it. Throw away the keys. He's not allowed to be in the franchise.
Yeah, well, I mean, but yeah, Kyle Trask saw a significant time today with Brady's absence on Brady's birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Brady. Also, Levante David took the day off. Maybe him and Brady went out, recruiting somebody.
I can't really see that. I'd like to see it because I think that'd be quite entertaining.
Well,
but yeah, we got. Hey, you guys are aware that there's an NFL preseason game on tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We're doing the post-game show on.
Are we excited?
NFL edition.
I am. It's just get back to like NFL football. Well, it might be the Raiders and the Jaguars. We don't say it that like we say. What's it? You say
I'm
Jaguars, right?
The Raiders myself.
We say Jaguars.
Yeah, so a lot of people here.
Okay, fair enough. Every time someone says it on in some sort of media, it's Jaguars.
You say it as it's spelled.
Jaguars.
And I'm pretty sure the last time there was actually Jaguars populating Florida was probably, I don't know, pre-Jesus, maybe?
No, it hasn't been that long.
All right.
That being said, we've got a very prestigious car brand called Jaguar, which is using the same. It has a
is that a British car?
Yes.
Oh, I'm joking.
Okay.
so
actually, are they? I thought Audi's making most Jaguars now, or most of the parts for Jaguars.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I think it was bought by a German company, but I'm not. I wouldn't put money on. I don't follow cars. I'm not into that.
Buying
kind of stuff.
all your stuff, man.
Yeah, it's because we like to sell everything. It's like we build it up and we sell it away.
I think Leland is still British, right?
What? Sorry.
British Leland, that's still British, or does it even exist anymore?
No, I don't think so.
How about JCB?
Slick is like, I used to beat up a kid in high school named Leland.
Yeah, I never heard that name before.
JCB, it's farm equipment or heavy equipment.
All right, okay.
How about Mini Cooper? Mini Cooper? No? Okay.
Mini Cooper has been bought by BMW.
Yeah, that's German.
That makes sense.
British Motorsports is German engineering now.
Pretty much. I don't know what we make anymore, to be honest. We just buy more stuff from other places.
That's sad.
All right, so we got Buccaneers preseason game. What, in like 9 days? No, 10 days, something like that. Against the Miami Dolphins, which next week the Buccaneers will be doing joint practice. And no, that's not what you think it is. With the Miami Dolphins ahead of obviously that preseason game. Which here's a fun fact: if you look at the schedule, that Buccaneers home preseason game, the next two are on the road, and then they start the season on the road. So this is like the only time you're going to see the Buccaneers at home at Ray J for like about another month and a half.
That's pretty harsh in the scheduling, I think, to be fair.
So you don't get to see Tom Brady at all at home in preseason.
I don't anyway, so it was never going to be a difference. But
wait, you can get the NFL Plus app. Can you get that yet? Can you get NFL Plus over there?
We have a version of something like that. We get NFL Game Pass.
That's the Game Pass got swallowed up by the NFL Plus here. So
yeah, it's still we have Game Pass Europe.
Yeah. Well, this just happened, so it'll probably get there eventually.
Yeah, I think it will. It just take a bit of time.
Hopefully, you'll get to watch it on TV instead of on a laptop, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I can watch it on TV.
No, really?
Yeah.
I mean, NFL Plus doesn't come out on TV.
No, but I'll watch it. I'll be able to watch everything through NFL Europe.
Oh, you mean casting? Oh,
yeah. Well, there's an app. We'll just use
There's an app for that.
Yeah, there is an app for that. Yeah, it's not a problem. It works out quite well.
Is here, since James is here,
right as we're talking about apps, we want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. We want to bring on former Buccaneer great, current host of the Big game sports buzz. I'm sorry. It might be late at night for me. We're going to bring on James Canada. Everybody, let's say hi and welcome to James Canada.
Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's going on?
How we doing today, James?
Well, I'm just trying to get this technology working. Other than that, everything's well.
We're in the same spot. We're in the same spot. So, since the last time we've talked, turns out that weirdly enough, all those rumors about Brady in Miami from Mike Florio there on Pro Football Talk turned out to be, I guess, true in the NFL's eyes. What do you think about that, James?
Man, that whole situation when the charges and allegations came out is just crazy to me because it showed you like, wow, everything that went on was true, and it makes you wonder how much more is true to what was going on, or what else has been done by the organization to try to gain an unfair advantage.
Absolutely. Now, do you think Buccaneer fans should feel some type of way about this, or is this just a dirty side of the business part of football?
I believe this is nothing that happened. I mean, this happens a lot, and I think Stephen Ross just got caught doing it. But I don't really think Bucs fans should feel any kind of way right now because we still have Tom Brady as our quarterback. If it could have gone another way and he loses out and he goes in and he takes that part ownership deal and signs to be quarterback there, then I think there's a reason for you to be mad and pissed about it. But right now it's they had some dealings going on. It fell through for them, but we still win because he came out of retirement realizing that this is still his best chance to add a Super Bowl to his legacy.
Absolutely. I agree. Now, to put on my conspiracy theory hat, because the news also came out that the tampering involved former Saints coach Sean Payton. It sounds like while he was a coach and while he was retired. Do you think that this behind the scenes master plan they were putting together is why Sean Payton stepped away from the Saints and took that year off waiting for the Miami job? It
makes you really think about it now. Before I was just like, man, it's been a rough go in New Orleans the last couple of years. He has a great defense. His quarterback had to retire. He wants a break from the game. And you can't blame any coach for when they want to step away for a minute. And now you take a deeper look into it. It was like, this all may have just been a ploy so that he can get down to South Florida and land another gig. It's like, what's really going on? So it's going to make you scratch your head because we'll never know. It's all speculation unless someone comes out and tells us.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think Sean Payton was jumping at the chance to coach Tom Brady, and you know the way rumors work on the internet, so take it for what it's worth. But I see the Dolphins. I don't want to use the word desperate, but I'm going to use the word desperate. Desperate enough to give Sean Payton a similar deal to John Gruden, and a piece of the franchise, or at least significant money. Right. My whole thing is, the Saints were pretty good to you, Sean Payton. I mean, and you're kind of a legend in that town. If this comes out to be true that you left to take the Miami job, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of blowback in some of the fan bases, Bucs with Brady and the Saints with Sean Payton.
It can be. And I think, you think about New Orleans, and I think you automatically put Sean Payton as a staple to go along with that franchise. It's almost to where it doesn't even seem right saying one without the other right now. But it's like, man, will it tarnish it? They'll be mad for a while, but for what Sean Payton did for that city and that franchise, they'll forgive him for it.
Yeah, I think they will. I think the thing with these teams and what have you and the fan bases, they will start off mad, and you've got to remember that for them, really, he is like their version of like, they were nobodies before. They were never really a major team in contention. If you look at how many playoff runs they've had and how many playoff wins they had before Sean Payton set foot in that building, it weren't great. So a lot of most of their 90% of their success comes from Sean Payton. So as much as you can be mad at it, at the same time, you got to respect it.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Slick. It's and I think fans, we can get emotional from a fan standpoint and feel betrayed for a second, and then the game takes off again. You get back going with it, and then you still remember back to, hey, remember when Coach Payton got us a championship? Man, that was a great season. That was a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And they will, let the foot off a little bit, the gas, and relax a little bit and start to forgive them. But right now, immediately when all these allegations are coming out, people are thinking about it. It's only natural, I think, to get into your emotions just a little bit.
Absolutely. Question I have for you is that you've been a part of an NFL locker room. You've been with a very successful NFL locker room. So my question to you is, with the stuff that's going on with Brady, could that affect the locker room? Are Buccaneers players thinking, this guy don't want to be here, he's not fully committed?
I don't think it really does in this aspect, only because of who it is and what he still does for that locker room, and to where you still got people that want to come play with him. Julio Jones is only there because he really wanted to play with Brady and made Tampa his top destination in free agency. I mean, he's not the same Julio Jones, we understand that, but it's to some degree he can get things done, and he realized his best chance is to come be with Brady. Other people are going to feel like that, and I think this team may have slightly be pissed a little bit, but at the same time, you realize your best chance to win a third Super Bowl is with number 12 at quarterback. So if you were mad a little bit, you aren't going to be mad long, and I don't think Brady's the type of quarterback that's going to go into anything half-ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, him being there, him being at practice, him speaking on his offensive line and how they're trying to get better with the injuries and everything else is letting you know that he's all in on this season. Now, after this season, it goes his way, he might shoot Tampa the deuce and head on down south. And if he does, he has the right to do that if that's what he wants to do. The player in me is like, I'm never going to be mad at a guy going to do what they want to do. The fan in me will be like, nah, man, if you leave us, you need to be done playing forever.
I mean, that's a fair point. Another thing that you could look at it from a different perspective was, we don't know who contacted who. We don't know the details of this. So could the Dolphins' offer been just too good to him go, you know what, that's a whew. I mean, when you look at legacy, and we know that Tom Brady is a legacy player. He ain't collecting Super Bowl trophies just because he's got nowhere else to put them. He's collecting them to be the greatest ever, and that's his goal. You can see that's his goal. Someone offers you a minority ownership. Someone offers you a part to be a major part of their front office. Is that just too good of a carrot to turn down? Because we're going to get you Sean Payton. We'll try and get. Were they even talking about players at this point? And because we're not privy to nothing.
Right.
Yeah, we just know that they had a conversation.
They let us. They let a little bit out the bag, and they close the top on the rest of it, and makes you go, give me more. I want to know how deep and how serious this really got. I mean, I talked about this on my show a long time ago when it first came out as a rumor, and I'm like, offer me ownership and a roster spot, I'm going to say bye-bye, and I'm going to take it because now I'm securing my future as well as my right now. But I think Brady is smart enough to look at it. Knew it was going to be some blowback because like now, is it a conflict of interest for a player to be part owner while he's still playing the game? And then also, how's this going to look? Can we do this without it being super shady? And then also, you don't have quite all the pieces. Yeah, I can go down there and have this, but I still want to win. And I think a lot of Brady wanting to win made it like, this is very enticing, but it's just not the right move for me right now. Absolutely.
And it also casts a little bit of, was there, like with Tom Brady talking to another team, was this a catalyst from the Bruce Arians rumors that we had? Could that have been something that had potentially went, you know what? This guy's pissing me off. I don't like him ripping up my game plan. I don't really want to work with this guy. And I'm just going with what was reported. Yeah, I don't know because I'm not in that building. But you go with that. Then you get with the offers that you're getting from Miami, and they're going, we'll give you this, we'll give you. It's like a candy shop of whatever you want. And all of a sudden, you're like, and I believe Miami is quite a fashion capital of the America. So it worked very well for Giselle as well. So, and it's not too, it keeps them there. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I'm just trying to think of like what was the enticement? What could have led to this actually happening? Like, what was the catalyst? And I think this is what makes it such a fascinating story.
It's very fascinating because, like you said, like just starting to show off, it came out where allegations were found to be true, and it was so now it's like, whoa, what all would? So yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm one of those guys where I want to know more of what happened. Like, don't just tell me, we found evidence that the things went on and they're in Dolphins in trouble. We're going to strip them 2 draft picks and fine the owner $1.5 million, which is pocket change for him. I want to know the details of what was said and what was done and how deep this thing goes.
Of course, because it's fascinating. Like,
it is.
It makes you think. It opens up everything because you're like, oh, could there have been that much friction with Bruce Arians that he could have gone, well, let's go and talk to a team? Could there have been that much of an offer and they contacted him and he's going in his mindset going, well, I'm not working with this guy very well at the moment. They're offering me this, and this. Maybe I do just retire and do something, because it happens. We didn't get Bruce Arians by the by. We got Bruce Arians with I wouldn't say crooked deal, but he was retired and we enticed him out of retirement. And the same with Gronk. So we can't say our hands don't have any sort of stain on them whatsoever. We have spoken to players.
Well, I'll say this: if we've learned anything about this league, just look at some of the things that the Patriots have done in the past, and even things that I've never seen on TV, but I've heard behind closed doors. This is not the first time any sort of cheating or anything is going on. This is just a team that got caught doing it.
For sure.
I think stuff like this goes on all the time, and you just don't really hear about it outside of the building walls. But I know being behind walls and former players switch teams and come places, and you start hearing stories, and you just like looking at people shaking your head like that goes on for real. Like, wow. And then later on, some things get reported in the news, and guys do get caught doing things. You're just like, and then you're not surprised anymore because you've already heard from people that used to deal with those franchise organizations that they have some shady dealings in the past.
Absolutely. And I think it takes that kind of level of awareness. And once you have that, that's when people do start going, oh, so this crooked stuff happened, like the whole tanking. We know it all everyone knows it happens to a degree. We didn't realize that coaches were being paid to do it. We didn't realize, we don't realize how far it goes. All we see is like, yeah, this team doesn't look like they're trying, or they're making questionable substitutions, or they're just calling plays that nobody should ever call, or like an all-out blitz.
Yeah, or you come in to all week, everyone's practiced and studied the game plan and ready to go for Sunday, and then all of a sudden you get to the stadium and one of your best players like, hey, he's gonna be inactive today. We just feel like we really need to rest him. And it's just like, nothing's wrong with me. What you need to rest? Nah, well, you had a little banged up during the week, so we're gonna rest you. Also, it's like you take one of our most valuable assets off the field, and for what? And so it makes you think, like, are you trying to take someone that's better off the field to get someone else on? So it'll be a little bit tougher in that position. And like I said, weird things happen out of the blue, man. And it always makes you raise a little red flag in your subconscious.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in an NFL locker room yourself, and you were drafted in 1998, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep.
Was it Tony Dungy who you had the phone call with? That's awesome.
Yes,
so
sir.
I would imagine that locker room, off the top of my head, the way I know of Coach Dungy and books I've read and stories I've heard, that was a very, I'm not say clean, but a very honest locker room.
It was by the book. That locker room was by the book, and Tony was the kind of guy where he would fall on the sword for his players. And I think ultimately that's what did him in Tampa, is because they wanted him to make some coaching changes that he wasn't comfortable making, because that's not how he does things, and it cost him his job.
I mean, he's a coach that I coached American football here in the UK, so I'm a defensive coordinator, and he's somebody I model my whole coaching style over, to be honest, because I've been always told that I'm not that aggressive with players or what have you. I can't really, because our players play to play the game, so I feel a bit rough kind of to shout at somebody about not doing their job properly when they've paid their hard-earned money to come and play the game. And it ain't cheap.
The one good thing about Coach Dungy was, he had the right people around him that could do the dirty work and screaming for him. So he had a Monty Kiffin. He had a Rod Marinelli as defensive line coach that would get all up into you, where he never really had to change his character of who he was. He knew how to put the right pieces around him to get the motivation out of his guys that he needed. And that's what, you look at a head coach, and they need to bring a lot of different things to the table because they have to wear so many different hats. And Tony was, I tell people not to sound funny, he is a great puppet master because he could put all these pieces together and make them work and coexist, but still have it be harmonious where you didn't feel like you were being beat down every day. Like some coaches think they have to coach you. And I've learned a lot over the years from, that approach to where, I coach now at a middle school and a high school level, and I've really had to scale it back because one, the talent you get is so spread out and so few and far in between. So you really have to learn how to relate to all these kids in a different way because, there's not a bunch of James Canadas and Warren Sapps and Booger McFarland's walking around on that defensive line at one time. It might be every couple of years you see a kid that's like, oh, he might end up being a D1 kid one day, or he might go to college and play somewhere. And that's really, to the extent of it, that's really it. So you really learn how to take a page out of coach's book. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not screaming today. I'm not doing this. I'm going to relax. And this is how I have to approach it.
Yeah, I always found myself as a coach, I always want to, I try to tailor the way I speak to players differently to because each player likes certain things from me. Well, some players I can push a bit harder and be a bit more stern with, and other players you kind of have to wrap up with kids' gloves and wrap them, keep it soft with them because they just can't take it. And you see them go inside themselves. But for me, the biggest reward is when you see that click. I remember a couple of years ago, we were playing a game and our corner was getting his ass beat. And I told him what he was doing wrong. He got back in the play, picked the ball. They did the same thing again. They ran a deep route, and this time he did what he was supposed to do. Picked the ball off, ran it, got a touchdown out of it. And he ran straight up to me and it's exactly what you told me. And that was like, I've done my job. That's what I need to do.
That's cool. That's what's up.
Absolutely. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Training Camp Live with Slick and the Dude, and of course our special guest, James Canada from Big Game Sports Buzz. James, we always appreciate you taking the time. You know that. Why don't you tell everybody what you got coming up and where they can find you?
Yeah, so tomorrow it'll be a brand new episode of Big Game Sports Buzz. That's 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that on YouTube or on our Big Game Sports Buzz Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter at JKN97 or at BG Sports Buzz. And, the NFL training camp going on tomorrow, we're just talking about a lot more training camp. We're going to talk about the NFC North tomorrow, who we think is going to win that division, and talk a little bit more on this Deshaun Watson punishment and if the punishment fit the crime, and our top 5 tomorrow, which is our big segment that a lot of people love. We're doing the top 5 best sports nicknames of all time.
I want to nominate Slick.
I wish it was that kind of cool. It's because I had slick back hair. That was pretty much all it was. But it's so simple. But yeah, absolutely.
All right, hey, James, we appreciate it, man. We're gonna go ahead and let you jump off here, and we're gonna obviously extend you invitations over and over again. You've always been so cordial. We appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. James Canada, Big Game Sports Buzz. Follow him on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. The links are already in the comments section. If you need more, message the Bucs Report page or the Tampa Bay Sports Report page on Facebook, and we'll give you all the information you need.
All right, man. Appreciate that, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, thank you, man.
All right.
Thanks for time, mate.
Bye-bye.
Slick, guess what?
What?
There's no rest for the weary. Right now, we have, ladies and gentlemen, very special guest, J.C. Allen from Pewter Report. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to welcome this man, J.C. Allen from Pewter Report. We like to call him a brother from another mother. We like to call him the King of Duncan. And that's all we'll say about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy that told us more stuff about Tom Brady in 2020 than we could shake a stick at. From pewterreport.com. You can see the hat. You can see the smile. You've seen him on social media. Hey, Tom Brady even asked him what the hell's going on the other day. So, Joshua, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry, JC. I keep forgetting, sir.
Hey, you know where else you see me? Right there where I got my start. Never forget that right there. That's where I got my start, and I'll never forget that. But yeah, I'm happy to be on here with you guys. As always, dude, it's been a while since we've shared a screen, so excited about that. Slick, nice to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you. I've watched a couple of the shows, so
much appreciated.
And chatting a little bit about training camp with you guys.
That's cool, man.
Hey, Joshua, hey, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. He's been there. He's been at training camp. You can tell because look at the sun you got, bro. You're starting to look like you're an actual Floridian now, dude.
Right. I mean, I always say, if anyone says that I'm pale, just look at the watch line that I got going on.
Watch line.
The sun has been definitely a friend of me, a friend of mine at camp recently, for better or for worse. I'm not sure. It's been a scorcher out there almost every day. But we finally got a little bit of a break. It only took, Tristan Wirfs getting carted off with heat cramps yesterday to move inside and indoors for a practice. So that was a pleasant surprise pulling up to the stadium today and then telling us, hey, we're going indoors. I was like, you mean the AC indoors? Okay, let's do it.
So Joshua, we all have social media, so we all see, the standard generic information coming from training camp. But you're there, man. You're like smelling the grass, hearing the pads click. Tell us something, man. Give us something to latch onto. Give us some hope. Give us some good news.
Yeah, I think so far in camp, it's been a lot of give and take. It's been offense has been getting their way, defense has been getting their way, and I think that's expected when you have two top 5 units, potentially top 5 units in the league, right, with the offense and the defense. So there's been a lot of back and forth with the offense making plays, scoring touchdowns, impressive. Had a couple of impressive days stringing together with some of the guys on offense, and the defense getting their hands on a lot of balls. That's been a huge emphasis of this offseason for a lot of the team is to create more turnovers. And so far we've seen that almost every day in practice has been not just one pick, but multiple picks, guys getting their hands on balls, sacks. So getting after the quarterback, creating turnovers, and not just even getting after making the turnovers and getting after the quarterback, but working in unison. There's been a lot of coverage sacks. There's been a lot of, errant throws because of the pressure. So that's something that has been extremely, beneficial is adding some of these new pieces because it allows you to play a little bit more aggressively if you're a defensive back, knowing that pressure's coming, whether that's on Brady, whether that's on Gabbert, Trask, or hopefully eventually in the regular season, when they start playing real games, that's going to be a huge difference maker because it's going to allow the defense to give the offense the ball back and score more points. And how do you win the game? You score points. So the Bucs have been pretty good at that over the last couple of years, averaging over 30 points a game. So, if you can keep that rolling, the Bucs are going to be in good shape this year, even without missing one of their, potential stalwart offensive linemen for a majority of the season.
We're live with JC Allen from Pewter Report and Slick live from the United Kingdom. See how I did that? Because I don't remember what. Oh, yeah. Hey, Joshua. I'm sorry. Hey, JC. See, I'll pick it up here, dude. What city does Slick live in? There's your guess.
Let's see. Let's go with the first that popped into my mind was Liverpool.
I'm not a Scouser.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Slick.
2 a.m. right now.
All right, so there's we're very famous for a sauce.
A sauce?
A sauce that everyone uses seasoning in cookery shows, and nobody in America can pronounce it right. It begins with a W.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
It's wash your sister sauce.
Yeah.
Lost your sister sauce.
Worcester for you $1.25.
And now, JC, back to training camp because I know you're more professional than back in the day when you're here at Bucs Report. We got to keep that professional edge.
We'll cut loose a little bit, you know.
Well, we got another one of our mentors getting ready to come on here a little bit. I might even bring him on with you because, hell, you guys are cute. Training camp. What's the one person that we should really be paying attention to that we're really not paying attention to?
You know, Scotty Miller's been stacking some good practices together. I will say that. Obviously, this wide receiver battle is going to be one for the ages. This is probably the one of the best wide receiver rooms in the history of the league, how deep it is, how much talent there is at the top. But I've been impressed by Scotty Miller. He hasn't really gotten as much buzz. Tyler Johnson was talked up by Mike Evans and also by Todd Bowles the other day. But Scotty's been doing a little bit of everything. He's been back there returning punts on the punt team. Obviously, we saw what he was capable to do when they put him out as a gunner last year, causing a fumble, being very impactful in that role. And you know, he's been making some good catches. They had him working on some end around stuff today too, utilizing that speed. He added about 15 pounds of muscle, and he's displayed some good blocking too as a wide receiver, which we know the Bucs ask a lot of their wide receivers to do that. So I've been impressed by Scotty. I don't think he's been talked about as much, but he's definitely a guy who I think has a real shot at winning this job. You know, a few other guys, just real quick, that haven't been talked about as much, I would say. Obviously, all the attention's on Leverett and Hainsey, but I think Rashad White is another guy who's been, you know, there's been intrigue, but I don't know if they've been talking about him. He's looked really smooth as a pass catcher, as expected. He's looked really good as a running back, finding good holes. But Keyshawn Vaughn has really impressed me as well. Very, very fluid catching the ball, something that he's had to work on over the past few years with Giovanni Bernard out the past 2 days. He's gotten a lot of work at behind Leonard Fournette. So, you know, on offense, there's been quite a few guys. Defensively, the starters are doing their thing. I mean, they're out there, they're making plays, they're getting after it. Elijah Ponder is a name who I think people should be keeping an eye on as former defensive tackle from Cincinnati. College Cincinnati, not the Bengals, changed his entire body this offseason to become more of an outside linebacker, lost like 20 pounds. He's looked good, been able to set the edge good against the run, got some good pressures, a few would-be sacks. And I think outside linebacker, edge rusher is one position besides center now, is a lot of position that a lot of Bucs fans have been talking about maybe adding to. But I think with what they've seen from him, that's going to be put on hold to at least next week after the Dolphins joint practices and the Dolphins game to get a better look at him in that competition, really, before they look to add somebody else. But those are some of the guys I think have been kind of flying under the radar, and I'm excited to see how they progress and continue to progress through camp.
Do you think it's safe to say, because the narrative out there has been with Jalen Darden, that the way he's going to make this roster is with kick returns, with being the return guy? And he's been working on his receiving, obviously. But do you think Scotty Miller taking reps, returning kicks or punts, whichever it may be, is a sign that Darden's in danger of not making the 53-man roster?
I think you're looking at right now, it's probably a three-way competition. I think if you look at if they keep 6 wide receivers, you got your top 4 locked. I think number 5 comes in at probably Cyril Grayson, especially with Rashad Perriman losing some time there. I think Tyler Johnson's right firmly in that competition. I think they had to use him in the role they used him as replacing Chris Godwin by necessity last year. I think more of what we've seen from camp as an outside possession wide receiver fits what he does best. Obviously, still being able to run across the middle and stuff like that. So I think when it comes down to it, Jalen Darden, Scotty Miller, and undrafted free agent rookie Devin Tompkins, they're all fighting for that 6th, potential 7th spot, and returning roles is going to play a huge part of that as well going forward.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Slick.
Just to touch on, I read your report on the running back Rashad White. What is it about the guy that sets him apart from? Would you say he's got that 2nd spot nailed, or do you think it's still a competition at this point?
It's definitely a competition. I think right now 2nd spot's going to Gio, and the biggest reason right now is because pass protection. Right, you got to pass. You got to be able to pass protect. We saw Rojo not make the field. We saw him benched early in his career because of pass protection. All these guys can catch Vaughn is showing he can catch now. Something that he's really worked on in the offseason is becoming a better pass catcher, but it's going to come down to pass blocking. If they're going to overtake Giovanni Bernard, if they're going to see meaningful reps behind Leonard Fournette, they've got to be able to be that three-phase type of back who can come in and, if necessary, even if they're called, brought in for a receiving role, especially a guy like Rashad White, who they've used him in multiple roles, out wide, in the slot, out of the backfield, catching the ball. If there becomes a situation where Brady needs that extra protection, he changes the play to have him protect. He needs to show that he can do that consistently. And that's something that both of those guys need to work on and show that they can handle it at any given time. Good thing is they're going against a couple of really strong pass rushers, edge rushers, and interior rushers to prove that. But once they do, I think Rashad White has a really good chance of being the number 2 running back at some point this season, just because of his skill set.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second there, buddy. JC,
bring in Evan.
We're gonna bring in everybody's favorite guy from the great state of Tennessee, from A to Z Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Evan Winter. Evan Winter, how you doing, boss?
I'm good, man, but you got to stop with the flattery because you don't need to lie to people. At the end of the day, it's not nice to lie to people.
Oh, well, you don't work anymore, so I don't have to lie to you.
That is true. That is very true.
That goes. Hey, we were just talking with JC, and see, I did it. I didn't call you the other guy. We were just talking with JC about training camp, and some players that nobody's talking about. And I know you're bummed out that you're stuck up there in Tennessee, but I also know that you refresh Twitter and keep your eyes on everything probably more than anybody. So, what do you think's going on with these Scotty Miller, Jalen Darden thing?
I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's hard for me to say because, as you said, I'm up here in Nashville, so it just really depends on obviously what can be seen and gleaned from the practices down there. But just from my 10,000-foot view away from Tampa Bay, when you get down to those 5, that wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 position, you're talking about special teams players at the end of the day for the majority of their role, for lack of a better word. Now, granted, this year Tampa Bay probably is more likely to use 5 wide receiver sets than they were last year because they had Gronk, and they don't have them this year. But still, that's going to be really, really rare. So when you get down, like I said, to those last 2 spots, possibly 3, you're talking about special teams guys. And, yeah, Scotty Miller flashed last year on special teams, definitely. Tyler Johnson has played a decent amount of special team snaps throughout his career. Then you've got Cyril Grayson logging a few here and there. Rashad Perriman never really has been that special teams guy. So, it really comes down to who's going to fill those roles. And you can make a case at the end of the day that every single receiver outside of Julio Jones in the top 4 are on the bubble. I mean, there's a case to be made for every single one. And there's a reason why there's another guy who could beat them out, obviously, depending on what happens in camp. So, I mean, it's tough to tell, like I said, from my point and from my vantage point. But if I just had to guess, I would say Scotty Miller's on the outs. I would think Tyler Johnson fills that 5, Jalen Darden fills that 6. And also a key is going to be Chris Godwin. If he goes on short-term IR, or if the Bucs decide to carry 7, maybe just because he's not looking up to speed, and they want to carry 7 guys just to, as a fail-safe backup plan. It's kind of like, I remember Scott Reynolds with Pewter Report last year said that Justin Watson's best shot of making the 53 or just staying on the team was the fact that he was going on PUP, and lo and behold, that turned out to be right. So, there are like different circumstances that can set up different routes for players, so to speak. But it's definitely tough. And like I said, you can make a case for every single guy as to why they may or may not make the team.
One thing I think's for sure is you're going to see a couple of those guys come back to the practice squad.
Yeah. For sure.
I think Rashad, with the practice squad going from 12 to 16 and 4 to 6 veteran players on there, Rashad Perriman, I think, because of what you mentioned, lack of special teams, is a guy who could definitely go in there. Seems to have kind of lost his luster around the league after bouncing. I mean, you get cut by the Bears and Lions in the same season, I don't think there's much intrigue on you, but that's a guy, especially banged up now, who I could see back on the practice squad with maybe 2 or 3 undrafted free agent rookies or younger guys there as well. But you make an interesting point, right? Because it's, what do the Bucs want, right? Obviously special teams is important, But what are they looking for? Are they looking for that speedy guy like a Cyril Grayson or Rashad Perriman or Scotty Miller? Are they looking for more one of those dynamic guys who can break in and out of cuts, smaller guys, fast, quick guys like Jalen Darden, Devin Tompkins? Or are they looking for more of that outside possession guy like a Tyler Johnson, who I think that role suits him better? So whatever they're looking for is what's going to round it out. And that's why predicting that 5, 6, potential 7th spot is so difficult, because they have so many different types of receivers that can do different things on the roster. And with having 1 through 4 booked, what do they want? And that's how I think it's going to come down to the wire. We're not going to know until we know, pretty much. I mean, we can make all the predictions we want, but
yeah, you're absolutely right. And, it's funny too, because you look at you look at history too, and you try to figure these things out, and how many, players they've carried at each position traditionally going into the game or going into the season. And there was, out of 2019, 2020, 2021, they only carried more than 6 receivers one time. And that's when they had John Hurst, but he was put on IR, I think in 2020, right before the season started. And then he was, released, put on the practice squad. So, it seems like that safe number is 6. So, yeah, like you said, at the end of the day, man, it's going to come down to the final whistle. And it's going to be fascinating to see, because, Rashad Perriman at one point was a number 1 wide receiver in this offense, dominating 5-game stretch in 2019. Yeah, I mean, crazy stuff. And then Cyril Grayson last year, overtime, or not overtime, but, heroics up in New York, would have won the game for the Bucs in New Orleans. I mean, if that would have held through, Bruce Arians commented on his run blocking. He can do it. I mean, there's just, like I said, you can make a case for why every guy is going to win that final 2 jobs. And that's what makes it so compelling.
Right. And it's also, do they, history's shown 6, but do they keep 6, and do they open up a spot for maybe a Colt Keith? Do they want to keep 4 ends? They've done that before too with Anthony Auclair and Tanner Hudson for a second there. Do they want that 4th tight end? Do they think they can sneak him in? Cameron Brate had some really interesting comments. I'll have a story out about how they could utilize him other than just that tight end too. So it's going to be super interesting. I think you look at the defensive side of the ball, besides cornerback and potentially 5th safety, it's a little bit more cut and dry on offense between offensive line, backup like tackle, Fred Johnson, Josh Wells. I think the backup guard situation is interesting. And also the 4th tight end, 6, 7, 5, 6, maybe 7th wide receiver. That's where it gets interesting on what they're going to do. And of course, kicker, Jose.
I got a quick question for you, since you've been down the camp. One, going back to the receiver thing real quick, one player that I felt like that can really throw a wrench or just make it even more interesting than what the battle is Zion McCollum. Have they been using him as a gunner on punt returns or kick returns by any chance?
They haven't really done a lot of special teams work like that we've seen as much. They did a little bit today. I couldn't really see from my vantage point because we're inside, so it's like very limited viewing area. They tried to put us on the 40, but of course they were doing it on the opposite side, so it was tough to see. But that's going to be interesting. I asked him about special teams the other day, and he, he's like, whatever they want me, whatever the phase they want me, whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give them the same effort I am on the defensive side. So he's a fun interview, man. Like I don't think we've gotten to speak to him since like rookie mini camp or whatever, but like just pulling him off the field after practice and speaking to him, he's very, and he gave me 3 minutes of his time. He's nice. A very energetic guy. He's a very hardworking guy. He's very humble, and he's impressed teammates so far, like and Todd Bowles. So I'll have that article coming out probably tomorrow. So look for that on PeterReport.com. Got to plug that up.
Nice. And I'm going to jump in here because JC, I love you, but I want some one-on-one time with Evan here, buddy.
I
want you, Josh, tell us what you got coming up. Tell us what's going on with Pewter Report and where they can find you, because trust me, if you're going to follow a Buccaneer Twitter account, the 2 guys on the bottom screen here, those are the accounts to follow. Joshua lives on Twitter. I'm sorry, JC. See, damn it.
It's all good. It's all good.
And Evan's a beast on it.
You knew me
Evan's a
before
beast.
JC, so it's all good. At JC Allen NFL is where you can find me on Twitter. I'm your one-stop shop for everything Bucs, whether it's Pewter Report content, whether it's my own content, whether it's content from the Bucs or anything out there. Even some of Evan's content sometimes because he pulls up some great numbers. Or whether it's anywhere else, PFF, whatever. Any Bucs content is going to be on my page. One-stop shop. Just follow it there. Pewter Report got a lot of stuff coming out. Some articles about some of the maybe Cam Brate's thoughts on Cole Keith, Zion McCollum and his thoughts, and teammates and coaches' thoughts on him, a little bit from him as well. A bunch of different article stories coming out. Off day tomorrow from training camp, little rest day, and then we're back at it Friday and Sunday. We have football tomorrow, so that's going to be fun to watch. But other than that, guys, thank you for having me on here. Evan, it's always good to see your handsome face, dude. Let us see your face. We want to see your face. And Slick, it's been great to meet you, man. So with that being said, Evan, the floor is all yours, my man. Take it and run with it.
I'm ready to wreck this. Let's go.
Hey, JC, thank you for taking the time again. Follow him on Twitter. Follow Pewter Report. Check out everything they got coming up here. JC, as always, we appreciate everything you do, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Evan, what's going on, my man?
Oh, man, just hanging out, having a good time. I don't know, with some pretty cool dudes, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about A to Z Sports, man. You guys are growing.
Yeah, just a little bit. So we've got 8 teams right now, and then keep your eyes on the news cycle over the next 24 hours is all I got to say about some possible more stuff coming to the site. But yeah, we cover 8 NFL cities right now, and we're growing and we're expanding. The goal is eventually to get to all 32. So, and then NBA, MLB, all that good stuff. So we're trying to make a national brand, and so far so good. This has been a really successful past 6 months, or however long it's been. Yeah, 6 months, and we can't wait to do more.
Absolutely. So what's your title there? I know you got like 10 hats you wear.
It's managing editor.
Managing editor, and of course the lead Buccaneer guy, correct?
Yeah, essentially the only Buccaneer guy. It's pretty much Evan Winter's Tampa Bay Bucs site.
And you've been in the business for a little while now, but you do have to admit, because I know you look at numbers of where your content's hitting, who's seeing it, and all that stuff. We all do that. You're sitting right across screen from a gentleman in the United Kingdom who has been reading your content and is following what you're doing. And I'd say he's relatively new here to Bucs Report, but Slick, why don't you tell Evan a little bit about what you're going on? Evan, he's actually a coach of an American football team in the United Kingdom.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm a defensive coordinator for a team called the Worcestershire Black Knights, where the sauce is made. It's been fun. I'm hoping to apply for head coach this year, just to try and help the team out, to be honest, because we've had a few negative things happening with the team culturally that just need to be fixed, and I've been told that I'm just a buzz of energy to be around, and a lot of players kind of start to be get magnetized towards myself, so it's kind of a nice deal. It's certainly not a job I want to do, if I'm honest. I never dreamt of being a head coach. It was more always being a DC. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun this year. It's just been a hard year.
Oh yeah, man, I'm sure. I mean, that's a hell of a title, obviously, and a lot of responsibility, but I bet it's a ton of fun at the same time. Oh
yeah, absolutely. The thing we got our last game of the season this year, so we're playing against our rivals, which are Hereford, and it's that bad for players that I might have to suit up.
Oh shit!
So I've just paid for my insurance, and it looks like I might have to lid up and go out and hit something.
Evan, I know you always got these articles coming up where you dive deep into some numbers, and you got to check them out at A2Zsports.com. That's the correct web address, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what do you got coming up, man?
I mean, it's all training camp. It's really, we just take it day by day. So, we've got, let's see, let me look at my calendar real quick. Tomorrow is Thursday. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams tomorrow that have training camp practices, and then we have the Hall of Fame game with the Raiders. So, I mean, it just really, we take it day by day and just see what happens, what really comes next. I know it's kind of a bland answer, but, today we had CeeDee Lamb talking about how he doesn't want the Cowboys to add a wide receiver after the James Washington injury. We had a couple of here and there about some player transaction moves, stuff like that. And it was kind of a slow news day today, honestly, but, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Evan, we appreciate you taking the time. We want to let you get off here because we know you got family. You probably got 7 articles, that sounds like, to edit or something like that. Give us a breakdown, not only where we can follow you, but also A to Z Sports and everything involved with that.
Yeah, man, so A to Z Sports.com is where you find all the content. And like I said, we're pumping stuff out on a daily basis. And it's fresh, it's clean, it's organic, all that good stuff. And then you can find me on Twitter at Evan_Winter, A to Z, and that's all spelled out, no numbers. And that's basically it. I'm not a very advertised person. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's typically the ones that do all the work, right?
I don't know. I don't know how that game works.
All right. Evan, we appreciate you taking the time, and we want to say we're proud of where you are and what you're doing, man. And the sky's the limit for you, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Nice to meet you, Slick. Good luck with everything. Hopefully you don't have to suit up, man.
I'll probably suit up, but I'll be calling plays at the same time and then just jump in if someone dies.
A true coach on the field, right?
Yeah. Can I call a defense from free safety?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just don't be too loud because you don't want to hear you barking out the signals too much.
It's all hand signals.
There you go.
I just think I'm dancing.
Then, dude, yeah, there you go. It's all set, man. It's natural.
Ladies and gentlemen, Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. Check him out on Twitter, A2ZSports.com. Evan, as always, open invitation. We appreciate you taking the time. Sorry we couldn't spend a little bit more, but the guy before you was long-winded, kind of screwed the whole rotation up here.
All those Northeasterners are like that. So.
Well, I told him to go have a Dunkin'. But as always, man, a privilege, a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Evan Winter, A to Z Sports.
Y'all take it easy. We'll talk soon.
Hey, Slick, it's fun when we get backed up on guests, huh?
It is. I do apologize. I had to jump out. The little boy woke up and he wanted me to put toy dinosaurs on his pad so he could go back to sleep. So that's life, isn't it, as a father?
Well, and what time is it where you're at right now?
Just hit 3.
So we're talking in the future. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
I wish I could tell you what's happening in the future, but unfortunately,
well,
I'm in the wrong place.
Exactly. So I'm probably going to butcher this next guest title, but he is the COO of the Bucaholics, which is the #1 fan group for invading opposing team stadiums. Are you tired of other teams' fans showing up at Ray J? All right, we do as much as we can about that, but the Bucaholics, their whole MO, their whole reputation is invading opposing team stadiums. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen the videos, we'll find out where you can find them because they're impressive. So without further ado, because that's a big word and I'm not even sure how to spell it, we're going to bring on, and if I butcher the title, he'll correct me because he's a school teacher, COO Jay McElroy of the Bucaholics. Jay, we want to welcome you to the stream. How you doing today? And see, look, I'm flanked by 2 beer drinkers.
Hey,
it's beautiful.
Hey, what can I tell you? This is just, I have very few days left until a new school year. So I am taking advantage of every single one of them.
I would.
Technically, officially CCO, Chief Communications Officer.
Okay, so watch what I do. This technology is going to allow me to edit what I have for you. So it's CCO. See, the dude admits his error of his ways here. so, ladies and gentlemen, we have Jay Macro. There, does that look better? That looks better.
There we go.
That's the title.
That's lovely.
So, Jay, before we start talking, about the actual Bucs, okay, for those who aren't aware, which I find that kind of funny, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Bucaholics? Give us that documentary from beginning to where you are now, but do it in 30 seconds or less or something like that.
Okay. Well, let's see. It started Christmas Eve 2015 with a phone call between myself and Art Oropeza. Soon added many other people, Steven Anderson, Vance Enriquez. And we had this idea to try and start a group for Bucs fans who were not in Tampa. We were all out here on the West Coast in California, but we were all Bucs fans, and we had found each other, and we wanted to do something like that to help other people find each other. Fast forward to today, we're I think 20,000 members now just in our Facebook group. We have over 30 chapters across the United States, 6, I think, in Mexico, but I could be wrong on that, maybe more. And we have chapters in Canada. We have a UK chapter, and we have a Germany chapter now. That's one of the newest additions. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure. But the goal kind of somewhere along the line, the goals kind of shifted, because we discovered that something that we thought was just going to be for fun was actually gaining quite a bit of reach. And we talked about it, and somewhere around 2016 to 17 is when we made the decision and started the process and became an official 501c3 nonprofit organization, and started turning the focus of our tailgates at opposing team stadiums and our meet and greets in their cities toward raising money for charity, doing something good with the voice that we found that we were able to put out there. So that's kind of where we are at this point.
So just so we're all clear here, there's plenty of groups out there, but and they do charity work, and all charity work at its heart is a beautiful thing, right? But what the Buckaholics do, they're legitimate, they're registered, they do everything above board, and the money that you spend, whether it be on their merchandise or any of the other functions they have, or just pure donations, that money actually goes to the charities. And we're going to talk about that a little bit, because we're not talking one charity. You guys work with several charities, and if I remember correctly, the ones that you work with aren't these big ones. They're more the, I don't want to say regional, but smaller, that the ones that actually need help, that need people like you out there making money for them. So, Jay, if you can give us a rundown a little bit, and maybe any backstories connected to these charities of the ones that you're working with, because I believe you alternate, or you work with several ones, or you pick one for a season. I'm not sure, but that's why you're here, so you can tell us.
Absolutely. Well, when we first started out, we had this idea, and I think it was around the time that we went to San Diego, that we were going to focus everything from that weekend all on one charity. And at the time, we picked a charity that was very close to one of our captain's hearts, and it was Honor Flight Southland. And they are the ones, I don't know if you're familiar, but they take the military veterans and they take them to the war memorial and allow them to be there and to see that kind of stuff. And they do a lot of things for veterans. That was our very first charity that we ever really kind of jumped in with. From there, we had the idea to kind of just, at first we were doing different charities all throughout the first couple of seasons. And then we had the idea to try and see if we could just pick one charity and focus on it for the whole season and see what kind of damage we could do in one full season for one charity. The very first one that we did that way was Hydrocephalus Association. And that was Jose, one of our captains in Nevada. He's out of Vegas. Actually personally suffers from hydrocephalus as an adult, and it's a very rare thing in adults, and it causes a lot of issues for those folks that have it, and nobody knew about it. And so we kind of got excited about this idea that we were working for this charity that not many people had heard of, and we raised a good sum of money for them that year. The next year is when I came up with the idea that we still use now, which is the Buckaholics Charity Championship. And what happens is I invite all of our membership on our social media pages to nominate charities that they are passionate about, whatever it is, doesn't matter. As long as it's a charity that they're passionate about, they can nominate it. And for a couple of weeks, we have people push like on the ones that they like the most. And then I take the top 8 with the most likes and I drop them into a tournament bracket, single elimination. And for the next several weeks, we have exactly that, 1 week. And I set up a form where people can vote for one or the other in each matchup. And we've ended up choosing our charity that way. Last year, it was Sjogren's Syndrome Foundation, which, again, it was another member, guy from here in California, my buddy Oscar Barba. His daughter suffers from Sjogren's syndrome, and it was another one of those things that we didn't really know much about it until we started supporting them. This year, the charity that we will be supporting, they just won our Buckaholics charity championship, finished that up a couple of weeks ago, is another one that I had not heard of, and it's actually a relatively new foundation. It's called the O.G. Ree Fletcher Heart Foundation. It was started by this guy named C.T. Fletcher, who you may have heard his name, you may not have. He's relatively well known. He's very famous on YouTube in the last 5 or 6 years, and was known before that as one of the world's strongest men and still holds several bodybuilding and weightlifting records. And he started this foundation after he himself had to undergo a heart transplant and saw the emotional and the financial toll that took on him and his family. And the goal of his foundation is to support people that are going through that process, both before and after the transplant. And I feel connected to this one even a little bit more when I talked to him recently, and we did a little 30-minute interview. It's on our YouTube channel. And he told me that most of the people that he's going to be giving the money to at this point early in the process are probably going to be veterans, because he himself is a veteran. He has a lot of contacts through the VA. So I just thought that was kind of I didn't know anything about it until we were voting on it, and I looked it up, and that's the one that won.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So Jay, let me ask you a question. I think a lot of the Buckaholics and Bucs fans follow what you guys do in charity work, but we also follow the invasions. Okay, and the invasion is kind of where you stuck your flag in the sand, and that's where the steam and the momentum and everything got rolling. We have a gentleman here on the screen who resides in the United Kingdom.
Yep.
Pretty sure he's aware of the Buckaholics UK.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I know you've announced it, but for the people who may not know, who's the target this year? What team is the lucky team that gets the Buckaholics coming to their house?
Well, I'll tell you, man, we have been, the last couple of years, we've been trying, even throughout COVID, we couldn't do much at all. But we have been trying to kind of do more in more places where we can and when we can. A lot of times what that takes is our local captains really stepping up and kind of taking on the role of the planner for all of the events that are going to happen. And we've had some really good ones. Last season in New York, I was able to go and we had a fantastic meet and greet in New York that was set up by one of our tri-states captains. And so we're trying to get into as many places as we can. If you're asking me what I think is going to be the biggest one, I'm going to cross my fingers and really hope that it'll be San Francisco. And that's just because I'm out here. You know, I'm a homer for California way out here. I've been out here since the early 90s. So I'm hoping San Francisco is going to be a huge one for us. But let me tell you, I actually was making myself a list of all the places that we plan to have events going on, starting with preseason against the Titans. We've actually got some stuff coming up there. I've got some folks in Tennessee that are on a chat, and they've been just going nuts, and they're all looking for places to have a meet and greet and figuring out where they're going to tailgate and all that kind of stuff already in the preseason. Same thing in Indy. Colts, we're going to definitely have something going on there. Dallas, we're definitely doing something, but I don't have any specific details yet. I've got a couple of captains over there that have been working on it, but they have been they've both been kind of going through some stuff, so it's been hard to keep communication going, but I'm going to get some information on Dallas real soon. Let me see. The next one I have is Pittsburgh. Definitely going to be in Pittsburgh. Cleveland again. And then, of course, you got San Francisco. And believe it or not, even though it's Christmas, Arizona is still happening. There's still going to be a meet and greet. There's still going to be a tailgate in Arizona for the Christmas game. So, like I said, we're trying to get a little bit everywhere.
Beautiful, beautiful. Slick, I know you've been once I told you that we had Jay coming on, you said you were going to – you had a few things you wanted to talk about. What do you got for Jay? Because right now we're talking into the future, Jay.
And I almost forgot Munich.
Ooh.
Yes, yeah, Munich's the one, isn't it?
I just dropped an event on our Buckaholics page for Munich. We have a meet and greet planned at the Ratskeller Munich. It's a beautiful place. Go check that link, and you can go to their website and see the pictures.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Slick.
Yeah, Slick said he was going to mortgage his house and buy one ticket to the Germany game.
Oh my God, it was insane.
So look for him. He'll probably be the guy that's like, I don't know, up in the upper level. But yeah. Anyway, Slick, what do you got for Jay? Because let me tell you, Slick's a huge fan. Also, coaches as a defensive coordinator in an American football team over there in the United Kingdom. So.
I heard that right as I was coming into the waiting room.
It's crazy. We talking with people, throughout social media, we get to find out, there's a team in Japan that has 30 teams in it that plays American football. So It's becoming global. Take that, NBA. But Slick, what do you got for Jay? Because
don't tell the NFL they'll start sending our teams there.
Oh, I know, right?
So my question for you, first thing I want to say is I was aware of you guys in about 2017. That's when I really started to look at Buccaneers media rather than just getting my information from the normal news sources. Because the further you go back, the harder it was to get information. So to find out stuff that was happening in camp quicker would probably be better to follow you guys, Bucs Report, and other people. So yeah, I've been aware of you guys for quite a while. I think I'm in a couple of yours. I think I know the UK captain off the top of my head, but I can't remember his
Andy.
name. Yes,
yeah,
Scottish guy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, Andy looks wonderful in a kilt. Let me tell you, just throwing that out
got
there.
A very smooth head. That's smooth. No, he's a good dude. So I've been aware of you guys for quite a while, and I've always followed you guys. You got awesome looking merch, and you guys do a great job of kind of capturing the swashbuckler and the vibe of the team without actually necessarily copying anything, and just keeping that kind of your brand, so to speak. And I love that. I love that about you. Your merchandise is fantastic.
That's I gotta give all credit to my boy Zach King. He is our graphic designer, has been for years. So anything that you see come out from Buckaholics, it is all his designs, and we're absolutely loving it, man. He just keeps killing it time after time. He keeps teasing us that he has something brand new coming out for the beginning of the new season that nobody has seen yet. So I'm waiting for that even.
So you don't sit down with each other and kind of discuss concepts or anything like that?
There have been a few times where we've tossed out some ideas for wording for shirts, little catchphrases and slogan type stuff. But no, not really, man.
You kind of leave him to it.
There's no need. It seems like every time I'm going to message him and say, hey, we should do such and such, he's posting that we just did such and such. So I learned to keep my hands out and just do what I'm good at, which is running my big fat mouth, you know.
One thing you guys do really well is when you make your chapter badges, is you capture the vibe of the city or the area that you're in, as well as having that Buccaneer spin on it. I think I've been fascinated. Is that all him, or is that like collaboration?
Now that's a little bit different, because as we've added state chapters in, typically what happens is we identify some people that are going to be captains in that state. And before we ever make a chapter there, we got to know that there are some people there that are doing something. And when we find those people, usually as we start to see that group start to develop, then we'll say, we'll shoot a message to them and say, hey, you know, reach out to Zach and start talking, get that conversation going. And he's asking them, you know, what are the things that are uniquely yours? What are the things that are going to make this stand out for your state? And yeah, he's had that conversation with every single incoming chapter.
That's fantastic. I mean, it takes a lot to have, and they do look, they're all completely unique. It's not like it's a one size fits all. And you get to see them on all the jerseys. A lot of guys put them on their jersey, wear the captain's patches or what have you. It's just a nice thing to see. I've seen a couple of them when I've been to football games in the UK actually as well. So this is a Buccaneers fan. I see the odd one or two that's creeping there. So you definitely have like a global reach that you should be really international reach rather, that you should be proud of.
Well, thank you. We're just happy to be able to keep doing what we're doing and help people along the way. And, you know, there's this whole thing of people ask me, you know, what's the purpose behind the Buckaholics, aside from the charity stuff. I've heard this exact same quote from about 100 different people over the years. They'll say to me, I used to think I was the only Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan in blank. Insert the name of their state, whatever, right? The goal of Buckaholics for us is so that nobody has to say that anymore.
That's a great thing, though, because I felt that. Like, when you're like, my team has one other Buccaneers fan, and that's basically taken. I play for that team I've been with that team for 8 years. I've only known one Buccaneers fan.
Oh wow!
So that, I mean, when my friends
address in the private chat, and I'll send you some patches.
I would definitely put that. I've got a jersey that could put that on. Absolutely, I'd love that. But with the reach you got, how far do you want it to grow? Like, do you see it going to Japan or somewhere like that?
We're going to let it grow as far as it can grow. I have had people reach out to me from places like Turks and Caicos. I've had people reach out to us from Spain and Italy, from, believe it or not, there seems to be quite a few Bucs fans over in the Netherlands.
They're close enough to Germany, so.
Yeah. So, and we've had people reach out to us from those different places about possibly starting chapters. It's hard for some of them because they are at that point where they are still alone. And so what we try to do, or what I try to do, is if I meet somebody from some place that doesn't have a chapter yet and they're interested, I try and get on the social media myself. And as much as I can, hey, where is anybody from this place? Let's connect you guys together. Maybe you can get together and watch a game. And next thing you know, we have a chapter there.
And here we go. We've got people coming out here saying, "Oh, there are any Bucs fans in Michigan. You need to go on Bucaholics and find them, because they're there."
There are Bucs fans in Michigan. Absolutely, yes.
And the same with Delaware as well. I would not be surprised.
Delaware, I don't think we have anything in Delaware. We have
Fred is all on his own.
The closest would be tri-states. We have New York, New Jersey, Connecticut is our Bucaholics tri-state chapter. Bucaholics Michigan, there you go. Tell them, Seamus.
There you go. So with this game in Munich, are you going yourself?
Oh man, you know what? I wish I could. I wish I could. I am a high school teacher and my wife is a school nurse.
Okay.
So the pockets are not deep over here. I'm getting to go to Tampa for the game, the Sunday night game against the Chiefs. But if I'm being honest, the only reason I'm getting to go is because I won the tickets in a raffle online.
Wow.
So going to Germany is something that I would love to do. It would be a dream. We had an exchange student from Germany a couple of years ago. So it would be fantastic, but it's just not in the cards. So I've just been reaching out to my buddy over there, Hagen, and trying to help him set stuff up. I actually got a message today that I ordered a whole bunch of Buckaholics flags and patches and stickers and stuff that I'm sending over to him in Munich so that he can do some giveaways and raffles while they're over there.
That's fantastic. Did you hear how bad the demand was?
Oh man, I couldn't even believe it when I heard both on the American side, people that I knew here that were trying to get tickets, and in our Buckaholics Germany page, people that were posting on there that day going, I'm some ungodly 5-6 digit number.
I can add to that. I was there, so I was number 600,000.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like incredible demand for those tickets.
I believe the NFL president of Germany said that he reckons they could have sold 3 million tickets.
Oh yeah, if they could fit that many people, they could have easily gotten 3 million tickets in there. And I know the NFL is, I'm sure, going to be doing a whole bunch of events over there like they did when they come to London. But we'll have our meet and greet. We had a lot of the people in the Germany group. There were quite a few the other day that were talking about, were we going to try and do anything for those folks that didn't get tickets? So we're actually talking to the same place that we're having the meet and greet on Saturday night now about possibly having a watch party there on Sunday. Wow. So that if people can't go to one of the NFL viewing events and they didn't get tickets to the game, they can come over there and hang out and watch the game with a bunch of Bucs fans.
That's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Training Camp Live on Bucs Report, Tampa Bay Sports Report, and Sports Talk Florida. We got live Slick from the United Kingdom and Jay McElroy, CCO of the Buckaholics. Jay, before we run you out of here, boss, we need all the information on where to follow you guys across all the platforms. And look for tomorrow. I'm going to go dig up, if you don't mind, Jay, that original invasion video.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to post it on the Bucs Report page. We'll tweet it out on Sports Talk Florida's Twitter. We'll put some links in there for you. I'll get those from you tomorrow during the day sometime. And Jay, tell us what you got coming up immediately in the future, and let us know where we can follow the Buckaholics and you.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm coming out of left field with this one just because I want to show you guys all the interesting stuff that we try and get ourselves into. Coming up in the end of August, the 28th of August, the Buckaholics are having their first annual all teams, all fans invitational kickball tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada. We already have a whole bunch of teams, and of course, all the proceeds that are going to be made that day are all going to go to charity. So that's the next big thing that we have coming. But like I said, we do have preseason meet and greet and tailgate being planned for Tennessee. Just look for Buckaholics on Facebook, on Insta, on Twitter, on all the socials. Look for Buckaholics. Go to YouTube, and you can see some of those videos that Keith was talking about. And you can also see that interview that I did with the founder of our official charity for this season, CT Fletcher. So, just go look up Buckaholics. You'll find us all over the place.
Absolutely. All right, Jay, we thank you for taking the time, ladies and gentlemen. Jay McElroy, CCO of the Buckaholics, doing a little good for the neighborhood. Jay, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, brother. Peace, y'all.
Peace now. Hey, Slick.
Hey, man.
Guess what?
More guys.
We got a lobby full of people. I want to bring on first. Well, I'm going to bring them all on camera because I'm cool like that. But I want to give this first guy a little bit of a introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, you've read his stuff on Bucs Report. You might have seen him on Twitter on the Creamsicle Chronicles podcast. we're going to bring on right now JT Olson. And while I get everybody on stream, we're going to go ahead and make a little announcement about JT. Ladies and gentlemen, JT Olson,
Hello.
Alex Schomburg, and the Professor Johnny Dean.
What's up, guys?
It's a free-for-all. Hey, well, Johnny
Belichick impression.
Johnny looks like he's in the potty. So watch what we do. Johnny, you've been canceled. All right. So before we get started, I want to show some love to JT Olson. JT,
Hey.
Gave you some news today. I'm going to go ahead and step on your toes and announce it here. We're very proud. We're very excited to announce that JT Olson has been nominated for 2 categories of Creative Loping Magazine Best of the Bay. It's a yearly award given out to media creators, entertainers, performers. Hell, they even give awards to politicians, but we're not going to go down that path. But anyway, JT has been nominated for Best Sports or Best Columnist and Best Sports Writer. Let's give a huge round of applause to JT out there crushing it like the long-haired god that he is. JT, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm not worthy.
JT, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're bringing on back-to-back teachers here because Jay's a teacher in California and you're a teacher in Michigan. But tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about what you got going on at Bucs Report and the Creamsicle Chronicle.
Yeah, I'm enjoying my last real week of summer vacation. I just go back to school next week, starting with a week-long conference. Really, I've just been trying to survive the summer. I got 2 kids in diapers, so it's been a crazy summer to say the least. But yeah, I've been with Bucs Report for about a year and a half now. I think I came on right around the time we won the Super Bowl.
You damn bandwagoner.
I know. I converted all the way from Michigan. And
yeah, exactly. JT's been putting out some great stuff on BucsReport.com. And in the middle of your screen there, you're going to see Alex. And I might butcher your last name, so please correct me. Alex Schomburg? Is it Schomburg?
Hey,
Schomburg. Hey, Alex Schomburg was at training camp about sometime last week. And, well, look at that. You got some autographs, got some ink on his helmet. Beautiful. If you go to the Bucs Report Facebook page, you'll see right there under the Reels category a couple videos, dare I say, exclusive. So check that out. Alex is also co-host of Thursday night's NFL Edition live right here where you're watching on all these channels. Alec, how was training camp? First of all, how hot was it? And second of all, tell us some good stuff. Tell us what happened, man.
So it was hot, but it kind of gave me, for me being away from Florida for so long, it kind of got me like adjusted. Like that day kind of got me adjusted faster to the heat. But when I was there, I noticed the kicking competition that Johnny was talking about previously between Bergalis and Ryan Suckup. I mean, the day I went, it was more so like even competition. I wasn't there for the later days, so I'm not sure how, I think Bergalis has like a 1-up on him. But I've noticed another rookie player we drafted, Rashad White, and he has promise. Definitely has promise. Definitely has speed. I'm liking Kyle Rudolph's introduction to the offense. I didn't get to see Julio because when the day I got there was the day he signed his contract, so he was on the sidelines. So I get to see much of him. But I've seen some of them, Jalen Darden. I saw a little bit of Ryan Jensen before, the whole stuff happened with the training camp. Let's see who else. I think it was what's his name? Fudge. Zion McCollum. I was actually lucky enough to actually have a conversation with him, like post training camp, and he was saying that he actually wants that starting spot in the offense. That's his number one goal in training camp, and he's not gonna give up till he gets that starting spot in the offense. He's actually a very humble dude. I think I was actually gonna get lucky enough to get a conversation with him, but one that I couldn't really get to talked to was Mike Evans, because it was mostly because I think it was like way they have training camp set up for the Bucs is like kids are like the mostly like ones that come first. Everybody else is just lucky if they can get an autograph, but I can't blame the dude. You know, most Bucs fans all love him, should love him because he's done a lot of work for us. But yeah, that's about all I got.
No one wants to see that face.
Moment of silence.
Don't worry, I get that same treatment from Johnny all the time.
Dun, dun.
By the way, guys, if you don't know, Johnny was upset with me because I missed the whole exit to go to the Jaguar Stadium.
He was. We went toward Keith.
Hey, you don't want to come to Tallahassee. There's not any football here. Trust me.
He kept saying that he's seeing the Seminole Stadium. I was like, dude, you're not even close to where you're supposed
I kept saying it said the Florida. It said Florida University of Florida State University Stadium. So I don't know why it said that, but
about 300 miles down the road.
That's funny. JT, so tell us what you got coming up. You dropped an article a couple of days back, but I know how that guy at Bucs Report likes to harass you so much. So tell us a little bit about what's coming up for the best columnist and best sports writer nominee, JT Olson.
Yeah. I just put out an article highlighting all of the Bucs' second-year players and what reasonable expectations are for them. Because this is turning out to be a really important class for the Super Bowl run. When you think about Robert Hainsey and the role he's going to be playing this year now, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka replacing JPP, and we have big expectations of him, and he's got all the talent in the world. So, kind of diving into what to expect from each of these guys who the Bucs drafted in, 2021 now?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my most recent one out, and I think that's out. I'd have to ask my editor, but...
Wait, let me get him on the phone here. Hold on.
You mean the guy that's cracking that whip on you?
Oh, okay, yeah. Editor, what can I do for you? No, but seriously, training camp. Okay, we've all either been there, Alec, or watched it, all of us, on Twitter as much as we can. I asked a couple of the guys earlier. We had J.C. Allen from Pewter Report, James Canada from the Big Game Sports Buzz, and of course, Winter came with Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. And we had Jay McElroy. We didn't get to talk much actual Bucs talk, but we had to promote them Buckaholics. So I'll start at the very top with my man Slick there. What's the one thing so far, aside from the obvious, like the injury to Jensen, what's the one thing that stuck out to you in Buccaneers training camp?
I'm going to be boring and go with the wide receiver battle because it really is that. It's probably the so we probably know that Cyril Grayson can be put to practice squad and no one's going to snag him, but everyone else, maybe Tyler Johnson could probably be put to practice squad, but everyone else can't be put to practice squad because they'll be snagged. I don't know if they still have the same protections that they used to have, because they used to be able to protect them, especially during COVID. You could had a special designation on one or two of them. I don't know if they've got that same ruling system. So that would be very interesting to see, because if they have that protection, then maybe they will flip on who they're going to go with. So I think we're pretty comfortable with who are the first four, and then it's all about who's going to be a punt returner and the next person.
All right, JT, what's the one thing besides Jensen that stuck out with you so far?
I'm following what's going on in the secondary. I've been reading Sean Murphy-Bunting starting at the outside. Antoine Winfield's playing a lot of nickel. Todd Bowles loves to use his defensive backs and use them like chess pieces. And, the different ways we can use guys like Logan Ryan and Antoine Winfield and Mike Edwards, and now adding Zion McCullum into the mix. And then what you already had with Dean and Bunting and, of course, Carlton Davis being our best corner. It just seems like everyone's getting stronger. That old mantra, iron sharpens iron. It seems like that's really coming to fruition with this group, who is a young group who's been getting better and better over time. I think this is going to be their year. It feels like all the pieces are in place for this to really be the strength of the defense.
Absolutely. And Alec, you're the only one on this screen right now that's actually been to training camp. What do you think is the big thing that no one's talking about?
I was trying to share the photos to you guys from training camp. I don't know I'm not sure if I did it right on here. I don't know if it will show.
Let's see.
Can't. I'm not sure how you upload like the single photos.
Let's see if we can pull some up.
All it shows is the background. I can't really.
Okay, I got you. Oh no, we can do it like this. Where we at here? What we got here? That's background. Okay. And what do we got here? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are learning on the fly. So let's do it. Let me try this. Keep talking, guys, and I'll dig up the photos from Alec.
Got you, but yeah, it was definitely hot. Humbled me a lot. Definitely. Oh my gosh.
So
let's just say I wore the right attire compared to everybody else. I saw people wearing like long sleeves and pants. Some person came with like a whole like suit. I was like, just me, like the time that they had it, it wasn't that bad. But every bit of shade, I enjoyed every second of it. I was passing by.
But like when you get that low key wind just comes in and it hits you, like, oh, my skin.
So you had a camp battle with the heat.
Yeah.
No, but I definitely
survived that down there.
I definitely took Johnny's notes down and looked at it while I was at training camp. But I'm loving Rashad White. His motor on those little feet is amazing. Like the way his cutback every single play, like the way his run style, I've noticed is similar to how Leonard Fournette was running in each drive. I could be wrong, or like it's probably how like the play that they're using, but he has that same cut through move that Fournette has.
It might be the same, but everyone has a different way of doing their technique, so they may just have a very similar technique as well.
Right.
Yeah, but I didn't see much execution from Vaughn. I see mostly just Rashad White and Leonard Fournette. He looks pretty thin for somebody that's overweight.
So far, I like this. We started with slick and wide receivers, was it?
Yep.
And we went to JT with defensive backs. And now we've got a running back thing here with Alec. That takes us to the professor. Johnny, aside from Mr. Jensen's injury, what's been standing out to you, sir?
Well, to go off of Alec just then, I was really interested in the running back committee because I think we could have possibly a top 5 running back duo in the league right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But with Leonard Fournette and Rashad White paired up, I see that as a really great pairing. Also, another camp battle that nobody wants to talk about is the Bergalis Battle. And I really am pulling for this kid, man. I like the fact that he can go out and kick a 63-yarder where they never let last year Suck Up never kicked anything past 47, and they would not allow that. If it was past 47, they would go out and punt. You know what I mean? So, and just for the overtime reasoning, I like the fact I like my kicker to have some leg on him that he can just end the game. You know what I mean?
Oh, Johnny, I got the photos now.
Oh, there you go. I saw him. Yep. He is so young looking, man. Oh my God, dude.
I got Brashad Perryman. This one I was lucky to get a picture with.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Devin White.
Yeah. He was about to sign my phone, but I told him, I was like, it's clear. It's not going to work. He was like, okay, I'll sign the helmet then. Like, I was the only person that, like, because I know he has a horse named Stables.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, how's Stables doing? And everybody was like, who's Stables? I was like, how y'all not know his own horse name? I was having a conversation with him. I mostly had a conversation with Zion.
So you got that little nugget there. You drop that nugget, and they're like, "Oh, this guy." I remember when I met Fred Taylor for the first time, and I was asking how his son was doing at the Gators, and we had a full conversation after that. And everyone was like, "He's holding up the line for his autograph," and I'm like, "He wants to talk to me."
There was one person that messed up so badly because he saw Devin White, and someone said, "Look, it's Devontae White." I was like,
Devontae White.
Jesus.
I mean, I can't talk smack because I watch basketball a lot. You know, Zion McCollum. There's CJ McCollum in basketball. So I slipped up and said, "Oh, look, it's CJ." I was like, "Oh, that's Zion McCollum." I was like, "I look stupid for a second." Luckily, I didn't say it to his face. because that would really be embarrassing. But yeah, like it's kind of confusing with the two names because I'm still also hearing that name in basketball, and now I'm hearing it in football.
Now, see, if you only focus on football, you don't have to worry about all that shit.
It's a fair point.
Man of many sports, Johnny. Man of many sports.
I used to be, and then I decided eliminate this crap here. It's boring as hell.
I'm too busy trying to please the wife and the children, so I football and a bit of rugby.
At least there's positive news on Tristan Wirfs. He was at training camp today. I see they moved everything indoors.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you seeing from the offensive line?
Huh?
How much are you seeing from the offensive line? Because I haven't really heard a lot about that left guard battle.
From what I was seeing, I wouldn't know much because when I went, it was more so of like they're plugging in pieces and seeing which fits, like who would fit in like the first team reps and second team reps. I was seeing like more so what's his name? Gosh. Leverett. I was seeing more so of him in there. But then again, I went there when pre-Jensen injury. So they already had their sets with Tristan Wirfs and all them and Stinney. But I can't really know much on my end. I wish I went to like the later days so I could have more up-to-date post situation that happened to our offensive line. But I only know pre-situation.
JT.
Yes, sir.
What are you thinking about the Treader thing? It's not going away. I mean, in Bucs camp, it's kind of went away, but around the league, they're still talking about Treader to the Bucs. What do you think of that?
I think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, he's definitely the best option available.
So what
I
do you
don't
think
think he's
they're
a
doing?
perfect fit for what the Bucs like to do, but I think especially with a guy like Anthony Barr being signed today, that's one less option that the Bucs might want to spend that money. They've got the money to spend. Why not bring in a guy who's experienced, who was successful in Cleveland? I mean, you saw what he did with that Browns running game.
Yeah,
I like it more so like competition wise, because you can't just have somebody just get the spot. You like unanimously, you might as well just battle it out for that position.
we're talking about a Pro Bowler with Treader, though. I mean, the competition.
Yeah, well, I see what you're saying.
I don't think it would be an honest competition if we brought him.
You never know. You never know. Watch out for Zion. He wants that number one spot so bad. He's wanting it badly.
Yeah, but Zion's a defensive back. Treader, we're talking about a center.
I was saying like rookies taking over spots. It could happen.
Well,
in a parallel universe, it could happen.
I think if not Shredder, they're definitely going to bring someone in because, all due respect to Nick Leverett, he's not really all that good. And I was watching his game where he played against the Colts the other day, and he was just getting eaten alive, play after play. I mean, granted, that was against DeForest Buckner, who's one of the best in the league, but that's who you're going to see week in, week out. It's going to be Grady Jarrett. It's going to be, DeForest Buckner. It's going to be Aaron Donald. These are the players the Bucs are going to be going against week in and week out, and he looked like a JV player.
Yep. Ramona, we're on Thursday night. This is Slick show up here. This is what is this show called, Slick?
It's NFL Training Camp Live.
Okay, this is NFL
Slick and the
Training Camp
Dude.
Live.
But I'm loving the step up in Jalen Darden in training camp. How he's like, I'm not sure if that rumor that I heard that him being removed from special teams is more so trying to see if he can fit in that wide receiving situation instead of having him return punts or kickoffs compared to what happened last season. But I'm seeing better from him his second year than I've seen from his rookie year.
Yeah.
Wish I could have been there when Julio Jones got there, but I only saw him on the sidelines. Like even my friend pointed him out because he saw him walk out. So I saw me walking on the sidelines. I was like, "Who's that?" Like I couldn't. Like my vision was terrible. Oh, my friend saw the hair. He's like, "Oh, that's Julio Jones." I could see the shirt, like the little white thing he had on his shirt, like a little square thing. And I saw a picture of him, like they posted of him signing his contract. That was the same shirt. I was like, "Wow."
I'm more interested in Russell Gage, man. He's younger. He's going to be here longer. He's going to be on the field more active. So
yeah,
Julio's a good story, kind of like OBJ.
I mean, I don't have high hopes for him because I'd rather have him like more like rotated in and out because you don't want to like put too much pressure on him, like put too much into offense with him, and then he has that same like hamstring injury.
No,
He's
no,
more
I see him more in later rounds, closer to the playoffs and stuff. Actually, becoming a bigger factor. It's just right now.
Like during season, I see him more for like red zone targets. That's about it. You don't want to over.
I wanted to jump in here and respond to Alec and his pictures. We saw the picture of Levante David. That was awesome, right?
Oh,
yeah.
It's Devin White.
There's the dude with him.
Yeah.
That's why you've been so quiet. You've been hunting that up.
Well, you know, I'm not very good at stuff. If you notice,
the dude had long hair.
Well, this is from about 5 years. This was at the Jameis Winston football camp, like in 2017-ish.
Yeah, you know it's a long time ago because the dude hasn't come out of his house since then.
No, I haven't. I haven't cut my hair since then either. But you know, just to keep everything in perspective, right? Posing. Notice I have a Buckaholic shirt on. You can barely see it there. To keep everything in perspective, though, you need a great player like Levante David there, right?
100%.
Yep. But then at places like that, as a Buccaneer, you also meet people like this. Oh.
Aguayo. Hey, Roberto.
It's Roberto Laguayo. And much love. I have to give out some love right now to all of our Gator fans out there, including Garrett Ballard, who is actually writes for Bucs Report and Sports Talk Florida and is attending the University of Florida as we speak. Wow. But just so you have an idea of my deep-rooted love for all things Gator, there I am, mounting a Gator on Panama City Beach. Tell me, do you got a picture like that? No, of course you don't, because that thing's cool as hell. But by the way, can you imagine how much I got honked at? Because that wasn't like in the middle of the night.
Is that lawsuit still pending from that Gator?
Well, I mean, he found an untimely end.
How do you take?
Let's just say he's a nice pair of boots and belt right now. So JT, tell me, what's it like to be nominated for Best of the Bay in Tampa when you live in Michigan?
It's super humbling. Just looking at the list of people who are on that nomination, guys like Greg Allman, you know, as someone who gets most of his media through these people, I mean, because I'm not getting anything live. There's no local broadcast for me. I get it all through guys like Greg Allman, Jenna Lane, you know, Bucs Report before I joined. It's super amazing just to be considered with them, you know, all the way from Michigan. I'm getting a lot of my information through other people and just through film evaluation, seeing clips, watching games. You know, I do a lot of film breakdown and kind of my free time. And it just feels like a lot of work that I've put into it's paid off, and it feels really rewarding.
She thought you were younger.
You thought I was younger.
Got that fresh-faced sounding voice.
Ramona, that's tomorrow night.
There's nothing fresh about this over here. JT, it's an acknowledgement well deserved. You've been grinding it out now, like you said, for a year and a half to get recognized, and like you said, have your name even next to those guys. That's the battle right there, right? We want to give a special shout out to Ramona K. Hey, everybody, if you're not following Ramona on Twitter, she'll probably drop in her Twitter thing. Follow her; she's pretty funny. Johnny, tell me a little bit about what you got coming up on NFL Edition tomorrow night. But first, before we go any farther, because, yeah, I brought pictures. You ask yourself what happens when the dude goes to the city of another team. And the dude tries his best to troll that fan base. Some stadiums and training facilities are hard to reach. Some aren't. But recently, well, 5 years ago, the dude happened to wander into Nashville, home of the dreaded Tennessee Titans. By the way, hey, Nissan Stadium, you're going to put a pickup truck in the end zone? Like, come on, dude. Anyway, fun story. I got the family. We're driving around Nashville. I'm looking for a place that I can mess with Tennessee Titan fans and, you know, take a picture. couldn't find any. Literally couldn't find any walking around the strip on Nashville, everything. So I went to the stadium, and security guards were circling it like 24/7. I don't know, like it was a target or something, which it was. As you can see by this picture, my love for the Buccaneers and my animosity towards every other fan base is pretty much intact. So we'll just go with that. There's the dude taking a piss on the Titans logo in front of their own stadium. Now, if anybody else has pictures of you doing nefarious acts like this, please feel free to send them to the Bucs Report page on Facebook or reach out to one of us individually. Because why? We love messing with other teams and their fans. We just had arguably the number one greatest, most awesome fan group on, CCO Jay McElroy, a little bit earlier from the Buckaholics. Hey, if any of you chuckleheads aren't following the Buckaholics or aren't part of their group, please go do that. They got awesome merchandise. Their fans are ridiculous. And we'll be posting a video of their invasion. Imagine being a Buccaneer fan at an opposing team stadium. You have no chance in hell to win the game. Nobody thought you were going to win. You show up 2,500, 3,000 strong to this game. There's a sea of orange and red in the stands. The Buccaneers win, and then the Buckaholics took over the entire mezzanine of the stadium. As you walked out of that stadium, all you could hear was Buccaneer cheers. So we'll be posting that on Facebook tomorrow, just so you guys can get a chance. And, of course, with links to donate and join all their groups. Gentlemen, football scholars, and Johnny, Slick, what time you got over there in the United Kingdom?
Just about a hit 4.
All right, what time you got to be at work tomorrow?
I work nights, so I don't have to worry about that. But I got to be up with the kids.
Well,
probably about 11.
Well, what we're going to do here is one by one. And Slick, because you're literally in the future, we're going to get you off here first. Even though you're a co-host, I know I just saw the little Pikachu sticking his head in there earlier, so I know you got kids to deal with.
Yeah, I can hear him talking.
Tell them where they can find you, how they can follow you, and we're going to go right across the board and clear this thing out, guys.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook, Stevie Slick Probert, or you can follow the Worcestershire Black Knights on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. I believe we're on Instagram as well. I'm not entirely sure. I don't use that platform, if I'm honest. My wife does, I don't. And you can also find me on doing shows with the Dude, and sometimes we do one on Saturday. Sometimes I'll do Book Wild. So you can catch me on Bucs Report there. Come find me, have a chat with me. I'm always ready to talk Bucs ball.
All right, I appreciate it. Everybody, Slick, he's bowing out because, like I said, he's in the United Kingdom. He's been working all evening, and he's got a bunch of kids he got to take care of. Slick, we'll see you Saturday. We got a big show coming up Saturday. We'll put the announcement up and get you all the information.
Yes, sir.
Slick, thank you so much. Good luck in your game if we don't talk to you before then, but I'm sure we will.
I'm sure.
And send our love to our favorite Bosnian football player, too, man.
I'll give him some love. I'll give him some love, for sure. I'll see you guys soon.
Sounds good, buddy. And now we got JT.
Why is this comment even a thing?
What happened?
Why is this comment here a thing?
Are we doing jokes now?
Someone's trolling.
Well, Ramona came in, so you know.
Where is it? I want to read it.
Oh,
on the
comment right here.
On the screen right there.
Oh, who's that? That's mean. Does that Alec kid a father? I don't know. He's probably picked on a couple of fathers before. I guess you could call that kidding. Or do you just suck at English, Jason? I'm not sure. JT, latest articles up on BucsReport.com. You can go to the Bucs Report Facebook page and to Sports Talk Florida Twitter's account. And you can find that, or you can just bypass all the BS and go straight to BucsReport.com. Make sure you go to Google and put in Bucs Report and hit search and then tap it. Why? Because it makes me happy. JT, we appreciate everything you do, not just at Bucs Report, but crafting the mind of young Americans and, making them not be douchey, for lack of a better expression. Tell us a little bit about the Creamsicle Chronicles, where they can find that, and then tell us where they can follow you and the Creamsicle Chronicles and when your next episode's being dropped.
Yeah, Creamsicle Chronicle is my new podcast. I run it with Garrett Ballard, also a writer at Bucs Report. Check him out if you're not following him already. We typically record on Wednesday night. Garrett had to push back, so we're going to record tomorrow night. We're going to go live around 9:30. So you can follow the Creamsicle Crew on Twitter, or you can follow me. I'll be posting it at Icewater Olson. And you can find all my written work at Bucs Report, or if you happen to be a Pistons fan, I also do some Pistons rating. So that's what I bring to the table.
Pistons.
JT, we appreciate you. And again, everybody, look for the links being posted around social media. I don't know. We'll probably be sending it out tomorrow, but go to creativeloafing.com. creativeloafingtampa.com. Look for the Best of the Bay category. Go down to Best Columnist and Best Sports Writer and vote for JT. Don't be an ass. Do it. Just do it now. Or as the caption says on our scroll, like, follow, subscribe, do it right meow. JT, thank you. Send our love to the wife and kids and all that good stuff.
Hold on. JT, send me a link to that.
Link.
To his Creamsicle Chronicles.
Oh, you can also find Creamsicle Chronicles on BucsReport.com. Just go to BucsReport.com and search Creamsicle Chronicle. If you need to know how to spell it, you're on the wrong website. JT, we appreciate you taking the time. Hey, tell Garrett when he's feeling better. We like to get both of you on here and really give us a taste of what the Creamsicle Chronicles is like. And now that I said that out loud, that's probably not how I should have worded it. But JT, we appreciate everything you do for us, man. And you guys go follow Creamsicle Chronicles on Twitter. Follow JT. I believe it's Icewater Olson is your Twitter handle, correct?
That is correct.
And why is that?
It's an old basketball nickname my buddy gave me.
All right, I thought it had something to do with it being cold and shrinkage up in Michigan, but probably not. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, JT Olson, let's put his banner up here. Let's make him proud. JT Olson, lead writer, Bucs Report. Check him out. Do it now. Don't be a jerk. JT, thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. And now we've got Alec. Alec, the stuff you sent us from training camp was amazing, brother. We appreciate that. Tell us, please, first of all, I know Johnny will go into it in depth because I'm going to let him talk a lot when you get off screen, but tell us what you're bringing tomorrow to the NFL edition.
Commentary for the fantasy football draft. Because, I deploy, so I won't even be a part of that draft.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, where can we follow you or find you, sir? Because we stop here.
You can find me on Thursdays with Johnny, Ben, and Alex on NFL Edition around 10 o'clock Eastern time. 9 Eastern. Sorry, I guess I missed the meeting for the time change.
What's that in military time?
I don't.
Isn't it like 007 or something?
I don't do military time.
That would be 0900.
He's like, I got a digital clock. I'm good. Alec, we do seriously appreciate all the stuff you did at training camp, man. That was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in Thursday nights. Check them out on the NFL edition. Alec, thank you so much for taking the time tonight, brother.
No problem, dude.
And now it's just you and me there, Snugglepuss, and we got some people watching. We got some comments popping. Johnny, you drink coffee today?
I drank a lot of coffee today. I always drink coffee.
And I wonder what Fred Swayze Moore's talking about, 2100. I wonder what that means.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about the military time.
Oh, 21. See, hey, Fred, I think you need to message Alec and have a little talk with him, right? That's disappointing. I knew it was something like that.
It starts after AM. After AM, it starts.
Right, you just add from noon, which is 12 on, right?
Yep.
And before noon, it's something, right?
Right.
I learned that on Call of Duty.
AM, midnight. Midnight's where it starts.
Oh, but yes. Johnny, what are you guys talking about tomorrow night? Deshaun Watson?
We're going to be doing a draft, and Ben and Alec are going to be running commentary. So whatever they're just talking about, we'll open it up, of course, with Alex in the news, which we at the beginning of the week, we actually did not think there was going to be a whole lot of news to talk about. So I guess you'll fill up the first half hour with news. Then we'll do the draft, and then we'll do the post-game show.
Beautiful, beautiful. I know it's preseason, so it's stupid, but I mean, What are we watching tomorrow in this game?
Oh my God, Bengals and Raiders. I'm looking for the Raiders. This is going to be a really good matchup. Just for preseason matchups, this is going to be a pretty good one. I want to see a lot from the Raiders.
Dare I say Hall of Fame-ish? That was weak.
Yeah, that was weak.
So while we got you on here, because we don't want to cut it too short when we got such active participants, so we're going to ask Mr. Jason, and I'm sure it's Swade, Ramona, Alec, Fred, and anybody else watching.
Yes, we were corrected, by the way. It is Raiders and Jaguars.
Yes. I thought it was the Raiders and the Jaguars.
Jaguars.
We want to know. We know some of you aren't Bucs fans, and that's okay, Ramona. I mean, it is what it is.
She did marry a Buck fan.
And I don't know what Jason is. It just says a green J. So we're green. It looks like Philadelphia Eagle green. But anyway, what's the big story? We want to hear what you guys down in the comment section are paying attention to as far as the NFL right now. Do you give a shit about the Deshaun Watson stuff? Are you tired of it? Do you think, I don't know, Daniel Snyder's getting away with, I don't want to say murder because it wasn't murder, but something? Or are you just happy that there's going to be football tomorrow night to watch on TV?
Let's go with happy. Come on, guys.
Yeah, but you're Johnny Dean. You're never happy.
I'm always fucking happy.
All right. Look, you're beaming with joy.
Yeah.
Dude, you got your high beams on.
Face. This is my happy face.
That's kind of not right.
Gary.
But yeah, as far as that goes, we do want to say a special thank you to James Canada of the Big Game Sportsbook podcast for coming on a little earlier. Of course, JC Allen from Pewter Report. Always loved JC. Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. And Jay McElroy from the Buckaholics. And of course, all the gentlemen that we just kicked off here because I don't know, too many people on screen. I was getting distracted. I was starting to get like something. Well, Jason can't watch tomorrow. Well, Jason, we'll have a post-game show, so log on to this same place you're watching now, and you'll see that dude in the red and a bunch of other chuckleheads talking about the game, breaking it down, letting you react, letting you have a voice. Imagine that. Fred Swayze's just ready for some effing football. Hey.
What's the Bucs record going to be this year, Fred?
12-5.
Ha! Don't go there with Fred. That's an insult to Fred. It's 20-0.
Hey, but Ramona, there's nothing better than a cold creamsicle. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Tua tomorrow, Ramona. I like what he's been putting together in camp, and I like his little attitude thing in his presser today. That was pretty cool.
I feel like if you're going to talk about him, you have to say his last name every time.
I feel like if you can say his last name every time, then you're a fucking genius.
I don't even know how to say it. I just call him Tua Taga. Lola.
Tag something.
Tag your loaf of bread. And yeah, I think the Dolphins, to be honest with you, and I hate to burst Ramona's bubble, I think the Dolphins are going to struggle to have a 500 record this year. And the reason I say that is I don't think the players themselves are particularly happy with what went down. I don't think they're happy with any of the Brian Flores stuff. I don't think they're happy with all the other BS. And I also think that Buffalo and New England Buffalo's obviously good. I think New England's going to be better than people think. Now, you guys will be better than the Jets. So there's that. But right now, until you land Tom Brady and Sean Payton, I think you guys are kind of, shit out of luck as far as playoffs go.
I don't think that I think the Patriots have a decent team, but they still got to build a lot more. They don't have the offensive weapons to battle through, and they just lost a couple more. So I got Dolphins in second place there. That I know with the crap that's going on around the team right now, it's time for them to rally. If they don't rally, then they will finish at the bottom of the league. But they have a solid team. I mean, they got a wide receiver core that's almost well, I'm not going to compare them to the Bucs because the Bucs are so deep, it's pathetic. But they're at the top. They're in one of the top 10 in the league easily with the wide receiving core. Their defense is super solid. There's not a lot of weaknesses there at all. Coaching, that's questionable because we haven't seen the guy coach yet here as a head coach.
So what I'm hearing is if they don't make the playoffs, then someone fucked up.
Well, he'll get another season, easily get another season now with Stephen Ross out.
Well, hey, at some point, does Stephen Ross consider selling that team just to get out of all the BS?
Oh, all he's got to do is step back and take a buyout because it's a conglomerate, man. There's 50 million friggin' owners of that team. And that might be an issue too with the Dolphins.
Coming soon, keep owner Gloria Estefan.
I do believe that she is one of the owners, one of the primary owners.
She is. I'm pretty sure Pitbull owns part of it, or like the parking lot or something. I don't know.
he's got the corner where the stop sign's at.
Is it Deshaun Watson or Deshaun Clinton? Well, the difference here is
which Clinton?
I think one had a cigar and the other had massage oil. By the way, speaking of cigars, Habatampa, where real Cuban cigars are from, just like real Cuban sandwiches.
There are some good Cuban sandwiches down there in Ebro.
There are some good sandwiches. So I don't know what else to do, and it's time for my medicine.
I want to hear the bubbler. Come on, fire up the bubbler.
Well, that's I don't have a paid endorser for that, so I'm not going to give away that content for free.
Could be your own trademark, dude.
What's that?
It could be your own trademark.
No, I kind of want this to be my trademark. You ready? This is my trademark. Yeah, baby.
Fuck them all.
Yeah, baby. But yeah, other than that, man, I got nothing else. It's 11 o'clock, and I'm out of coffee, and it's time to medicate.
Well, go ahead and close it.
I should take this picture down now.
Close it up. There you go. Close it up.
There we go. All right.
I'm going to hang out here with Alex in the back.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody for taking the time tonight. Let's do another thank you. Thank you to James Canada, Big Game Sports Buzz. JC Allen from Pewter Report. Much love, much respect. Evan Winter from A to Z Sports. It's almost like a reunion. Jay McElroy, the Buckaholics. CCO. He's the man. He's the man. Follow these guys on Twitter. Check them out on Facebook. Do what you got to do. And last but not least, we want to thank JT Olson, lead writer, Bucs Report. We want to thank Johnny Dean, the professor, Alex Schomburg. Gosh, who am I forgetting, dude? Can't forget Slick. Shout out to Slick in the United Kingdom. And special thanks to everybody behind the scenes that does everything to keep this boat afloat. Want to give a shout out to my loving wife and the little jackass kid upstairs. And that's about it. We're going to wrap this up. We want to go ahead and drop a video on our way out the door here. You are watching NFL Training Camp live. Buccaneers Training Camp live on Bucs Report, on Sports Talk Florida, Twitter, and on the Tampa Bay Sports Report on Facebook. Good night for now.
Free freezy pops! Free freezy pops! Nice ball, nice ball.